Hello everybody, today I'd like to talk to you about a project I finished about 2 weeks ago, and I was working on till 2016 and 2018 in the Hambacher Forst, the so-called Hambi. This is a forest sitting aside of a big lignin mine, and as burning of lignin for the production of electricity is a vastly bad idea, considering the setting free of carbon dioxide and other problematic stuffs like quicksilver and heavy metal stuff. And so that is just going on. And the company that is digging there and burning the stuff is quite a big energy producer, and they are still big in fossil fuels and fossil energy carriers, mainly coal over here. And the whole thing is just ruining our carbon dioxide bill. And as this company is trying to just pretend that the hole is not there and that they are clean and proper country and doing everything that nobody recognizes what is going on. And well, for being frank, only the people that are affected over there, just like people who had to leave their houses because the mine is going into to destroy villages that are at the border of that hole. And but the rest of the country doesn't bother. We want the electricity, and we don't ask where it comes from. So people decided that there's something that has to be done about that, and one good way to carry the activity of RWE, that's the company, into the public is to make it more difficult to move on with that hole. And so at the side of that hole, there's a forest sitting, the so-called Hambacher Forest, and it's a bit schizophrenic. This forest is protected by natural laws because it's a old forest, and there's a lot of animals living there. Partly there's kinds of animals that are only existing in this forest, and so they can't just cut down all the trees at once and go on with their hole. So they are only allowed to cut off a slice of the forest each year, as much as they will dig off the following year. So cutting off is in winter, and during the year they are digging for the coal. So here we have the hole, and well, it's quite big. It has the size of Berlin, and just moving through the country from one side to the other. You see in the upper level there's the stuff that doesn't contain coal, that is just put on the other side, and digging through it. And here's the forest, or let's say the rest of the forest. And so people decided, we set up a protest camp. It is here on a private field, and we are setting up tree houses in the region that is at the border of the hole. And every time people try to cut off the trees for the slice of the next year, they are facing big problems, like there's a lot of personnel needed to take off people that are sitting in the trees, and there's a lot of police needed, and it takes a longer time as necessary, and there's lots of complications, and there will be lots of reporters because there is something great happening there. And so the practice of this company is dragged into public, and after 7 years of protest, the thing finally had success, because courts decided that this forest is not necessary to be cut off, because there's a lot of other lignin lying aside of that forest. And so there was a cutting stop, and finally they had the agreement to stop earlier. For my opinion, not early enough, because 2030 is still 7 years to go on, and we are right now in these problems. But well, the whole process is not stopped yet. So I went to that camp because a friend of mine was working there, and I saw the installations they did, the houses they built in the camp and the tree houses, and I said to myself, well, it needs to be documented somehow. And so I started to take up circular or 360 degrees panoramas to have a database to make a virtual walkthrough. And so right now these buildings are no longer existent really, and I can set up the thing because the trees are cut off, so nobody's interested in that data anymore officially. So this is a documentation a bit how these things are built, and well, especially the tree houses are just built for 1 year, and well, let's have a look at it. The URL can be found in the web at virtual-hambi.de, and server can't be found. That's great. As a Virtual Hambi. Now we have it, and it's as well not working because there's an R missing. Writing is one of my great skills today. So https virtual-hambi.de, and here we are. That's the virtual walkthrough. It's starting in the camp, in the field, aside of the forest. And well, you hear there's sound behind. Right now it's just a random sound that I took from a tape I recorded in another forest. I will move over there and take up original sounds, because it's not only wind and birds singing, but you in the background you normally hear the machines that are taking the lignin out of the ground. So this is the camp. We have these sign here: real anarchists wash up. Not washing up creates hierarchy. Well, you can read yourself. And when you're walking through this, you have little dots here, like this one. This is in German now. It means to the kitchen tent. So we can change over here the language. I switch to the English navigation now and says, well, get to the kitchen tent backwards. I would propose at first we take a look through the camp. So we have some bicycle. There's a greenhouse over here. We may visit. Let's go over there towards the kitchen tent. So this is the place from another view angle, and here we can get into the greenhouse. So this picture was taken in summer, and well, I built it quite late. There's always building activity over there, and in the second year they have built that tree house. There's growing some sunflowers and some tomatoes, and as I went there also in winter, you can, and when there's alternative sites from a place, there's an additional button appearing on the top, and this one says this place in winter, and so you can also see it in winter. There's nothing growing obviously, and someone is using the place to dry his things. We're moving back to summer. So when you get out, you're moving through this virtual walkthrough by grabbing it with your mouse or on your iPad or mobile device. You just point with your finger and push the picture around, and so you can turn yourself. As you're not used to the camp, I want to describe a bit. So there's lots of things where people are living that are just protecting this place. You need to know that all the area is owned by RWE, and only this little trench piece of ground is privately owned, and the owner donated this to the activists so they can build up the camp here. So the camp is just orientating along a way leading through this camp, and so there's places where you can hook up and meet, and somebody told us some old campers, and so we can move through here to the entrance. All this is tried to build or organized by found things. People don't have much money here, and if they have money, it is used to do protest stuff. Right now the server has problem loading the picture, but we can already go into the next. And so we are coming to the entrance in the end. For example, here is a place called the theater. It is just built from earth and found pieces like bottles and glass bricks. And when you go in, you see there's bunk beds. And they built the whole place with well, a lot of love and manpower, I think. And it is well, it's more built like people were things were built in the Middle Age, just with soil from the ground and straw and something like this. And so over here we have a so-called free shop. Free store. There are donations and not needed stuff like clothing and sleeping bags and all this stored here. Someone comes over to support these people in their protest. He or she will find useful things he or she might have left at home. There's also an information point. If there's visitors or people who are trying to join the protesters, you can find literature and something about the region and publications about the lignin and carbon dioxide problematic and why they're doing that protest. And so when you go out, we just go to the front of the camp. Because there's a nice house there I want to show you. And here this is the view when you get out of the camp, and when you're in front of the camp you see this. This is the entrance. There's a note here that says, let's go closer. This is a private place, and police, REE and Bauamt, it means a official people that check up if buildings are built correctly. In Germany, it's forbidden for them to enter. The owner, I don't know if it works, but it has a history because nobody wants to have activists at protests against the thing you are doing close to your ground, and so they're trying to find reasons why they have to move away or why the camp should be destroyed. And you keep in mind that this is a state from 1918, so we are 5 years later now, and I know that the camp already changed again, because with every eviction that's taking place over there, the police is destroying the whole place and it is built up again. And so the things you see here are not really present in the whole setting you're presented here. So here we have the place called the Tea House. It's at the entrance, and it's a very organic way of building a house, and I think the people who are doing this know what they're doing. So you're having, for building this house, they dug out a hole from the ground. Here we have a button that leads to my website, by the way. The nodal point, there's nothing. I use different cameras for doing it, and different camera techniques, and some of my cameras produce a big black dot at the floor of these pictures you're watching, and so I put the link to my website. So they built this house by digging out soil from the ground. There's a hole under this floor, and you can go down there like going in a cave or a cellar. It is used for storage, and when you put things there, they're staying cool, because as it is low, it's the coldest place in that building. This is quite comfortable, he told me. Even in winter, it's not really cold in there. And when you're looking up, the construction of the roof shows that these tree stumps, how is it called? That these pieces are supporting themselves all around. It's a self-carrying structure, and where's a window and somebody put shoes on it. The things they use is what they find on the ground, like soil here. The soil took out of the hole, makes the walls, and the windows and glass bricks and all this are coming from places around the brown coal region, because when there's not only the forest there's also houses standing, and the people who are living in these houses have to move out, and these houses are just left abandoned till they are destroyed for making place for the lignin mine. And so the activists go to the abandoned houses and they take out things they can use here. And, well, of course they use things from the forest and found wood and everything. It's just a kind of material management that uses everything available. So when you're not incidentally not common or not used to this camp, or have never been there, which I suppose right now, there's also a map link over here in the left corner, and just not to forget, at the entrance there's the impressum. The impressum leads to my website to just keep up how we're dealing with data and who is responsible for that stuff. And you can also find the impressum in this menu of places. So we're having listed the houses in the camp, and here is the tree houses in the forest, and there's some other places you can visit. And here is again the impressum, because there's a software for virtual walkthroughs was designed before we data management rules were set up, and so it's a bit problematic to make the impressum available everywhere. And so it's here in the menu and can find at the entrance. So if you want to, for example, see one of the tree houses, like they have names Chillum, so when you move your hand to this button, it moves a bit to signalize, oh, you got me, you're getting up to the tree house. This is in the region where the next cut down of trees would start in the winter, and we are here in the top of a tree, about 15 meters over the ground, and well, we can jump down here, but just won't do it right now. And this house is 2 floors. You're entering at the lower floor. There is a storage place here and a little kitchen supply with a cooker, and you can also wash things if you carry up water or collect water from rain. So when we move up these stairs, there's another button here saying upstairs. You're coming up. We just came up here. Here's the stairs. There's some solar supply with batteries, and this is the tree house. And when we take a look around, there's a little terrace I'm just standing on right now. We are also having a hanging bridge leading to the next tree. And there's another house there that is not visible in this panorama because it was built up after the visit where I took this picture. So when you're going inside, this is the place. It's a big mattress, table, there's benches where you can sit. Unfortunately, this has it's an automatic camera system, the GyroCam. Oh, I have it here. It's this one. This is an automatic system which takes 360-degree pictures, but well, the resolution is not too good, and right now it's getting old. But the easy thing is to just set it up, push a button, and it does work. So this picture is coming from this camera. It's okay when you're not going too close. You see it's just everything is falling to pixels. But fortunately we have also a winter side from this place. So this is the place in winter. There's currently 4 people sleeping here at night. And this one is, let's check it. Is it taken with another camera system? Yeah, we have, this is my tripod. So we have this place. You can also read a bit what the people have written on the wall, and it's quite comfortable. I have a little oven here for heating, and here's the water supply. We are already at the time there the cut downs might begin, so we just were on the way storing up things to get as much people as possible up there. And here is a electric device that provides 250 volts alternative currency, and from the solar cells, and the currency is also distributed in neighborhood houses, because it's not only one house in the tree, but also there's several. I show them to you. One detail, this house was also torn down the tree, and the tree was cut off due to a lack of fire protection. That was the official sentence from us politicians. And well, here we have a very decorative fire extinguisher. Well, at least I needed a reason. So if we go out here, we are right in winter. Here's again the hanging bridge, and it brings you to this house. So when you're over here, there's also a little platform where you move on. It's a bit slippery in winter, and you have it's not very good for people who have problems with heights. We are 20 meters height in an oak tree. We always take the big oak trees, or took the big oak trees for their tree houses, because they could carry a load like this. And when you get inside, we have a cozy place for 2 people, some storage, and of course also this house has an oven. So the deal is, by at least all the summer there's someone living in these houses. When we are as soon as they are built up, there's people just sleeping and living there. And the beginning of such a place is just a platform, and then they build a house on it. And as there is a platform, there's already a tent on it and somebody is sleeping here, because of protection. Because in the night, in the forest, there's RVE security walking through the forest, and they are taking away and destroying everything that is not protected, or where there's not people. Because we just want to avoid that people are working against them. So there's also a night side here, just for a romantic moment in my presentation. This is the place at night. Well, these pictures bring up childhood wishes, like, oh, I was always wanted to have a treehouse, and it's a bit like this. But besides always romantic, as well, you have to keep in mind that this is architecture built for protest, and just for giving problems for people who do their work normally under the radar. And so, as just cutting the trees is not simply work, but it takes several weeks of police and technical stuff to just destroy the houses and then begin the work. They are in press, they are in television and everywhere, and the brown coal or lignin business is not something that flies under the radar. But keeping in mind that all these places are just built to live not longer than a year, because they are cut down in the winter again, it's a bit heartbreaking to see it. For example, if we're going to Mona, just for, come on, for the last, this is another tree house in another region. You're entering the house just through the door. There's simply a small step down here. And well, there's someone living in here, not me. The person who's living here just went out for me taking the photos, because I tried to take the photos and avoiding to show the people who live there, because they need personality protection, and the things that might lead to that might contain personal data, and so are all blurred out in this place. So you can't track back on the people who live there. So here was someone who was working on his master paper. So there was a typewriter here, and there's also a sleeping area here, and this is quite attractive. And these pictures from this house were also on the website of the protesters, and they had people were just asking if they might rent it for a weekend, because it looked so romantic, but due to security reasons and as there is no sanitary installations in these houses, they just had to deny. You have to learn to climb up a rope to get in there, and you always have to be aware that you can fall off the tree, and falling off the tree means that you're dead, possibly. So you can't just present it to everybody and say, oh, you can rent it and we take the money for our work. So anyways, this place has also a little oven, and it has a balcony where you can sit in the tree 20 meters above ground and have a nice look what the birds are doing, and mice that are living up in the tree. And so we have here, from here we have a nice look back on the house. This is the sleeping area. See a little bit how it is built, and this is the door I came through to take this picture. So when we go down, we are just in the forest below the house, and we don't have a real idea where it might be, but when you're looking up, here it is. So this is the house. We are just watching it. Here is a banner, make good climate instead of lignin coal. And when you're walking on the ground, you can also try to walk to the places on the ground. You find these dots. This one say going back to the camp, or to Oakland. That's another a place, and so we can go over here to another treehouse called Nest. We are right at the place where the treehouse is. Oh, here I have a nicer sun. There always seems to lie waste. There's things lying around close to these houses on the ground, and they appear to be like a dumping ground, but it's not waste. It's there's also these yellow buttons that provide information, and this thing says they're using this as building material. This is really, it's a building site. Most of the houses are built on and on and on and improved over the year, because it appears that there's always something to be done. And when you just click on this information point, there's two-sided text coming up. This first page is in German, and the second is in English, the same text. Let's scroll this. And when you're looking for the house, you always have to look up. And where the hell is it? There's another protest thing. Here. Here it is. There's the little button, and you can walk through this forest without seeing the houses that are in here. And when we're going up to the nest, now the button is response. It has also 2 floors. The ground floor or lower floor is just in construction. Someone is trying to make another room here, and there's already a window went up, and all the stuff that is used for the houses is just pulled up by ropes. They have to carry it by hand. They can't go in there with cars, and they pull it up and build it just, well, you see how it is built. Quite ingenious. They also try to build it in the trees without injuring the trees, because, well, you see, we have this roping. These ropes are just bound around the tree, and this construction always needed to refix. Every month they try to refix these bandages so the tree is not injured. Well, it's quite schizophrenic, because the tree will be for sure injured in at least a year by the time when it is cut down. And so it's the last place I show you. The rest you can explore by yourself. Here's again a cozy place, and this is how it began. It's just a little platform which barely provides a space for a 2-person mattress. And the upside is just a construction of tree branches, and there's some blankets over it, and straw, and at least plastic covering so that the rain can't enter. And all this is the construction. And when you're lying in the bed, you have that beautiful sight out of the window in the trees. So what's else to discover? So here we have a link to the protest camp's website, where you get information about their intentions, what is coming up, how you can provide them, and how you may donate money, or there's what's coming up as new stuff in the current years. And lately we had eviction of a town nearby. It's called Lützerath, so the whole protest went over there. But well, the Hambi is still protected, because you never know what Ari is doing next. And so this is it. And if you want to visit it by yourself or tell your people, you'll find the link in the description below. That's it.